Before we move on to working on the app component, I want to make one small change. You see here by default we have the text for our button sign in with Google. I want to change that instead to log in with Google. So we'll go to our login component. And to change our button text, we can use the button text prop on Google login, and I'm going to call this, or give it the name, login with Google. And feel free to provide whatever button text you think is most appropriate. So let's log in with Google, provide our Google information, then we should be kicked to the app component. Now our app is going to consist of three main areas: the header, which is going to display our user information, the title of the site, as well as a sign out button. Then the map, where all of our user pins are going to be displayed, and then the side area for our blog or pin content, where we can add text and images and comments with each pin that we add. So let's begin with the header. We'll go to Components, Header, and in order to get the current user, we'll first need use context, and we'll import context from /context. We'll use context and destructure state. We'll destructure the current user object from state. And then let's uncomment all of these components. I'm going to make one small change here. I'm going to import map icon instead of just map. And then we'll add some markup replacing our original div with the text header. We'll start with a div with a class name set to classes.root. Then we'll have our app bar component. This is basically a nav component coming from Material UI. This is going to have position set to static. Then the toolbar component is going to hold all of our nav content. And we'll begin with our title/logo for the app. We'll start with a div, the class name classes.grow. Then our map icon with the class name classes.icon. A typography component for some text, and the text will be geo pins. The component will be h1, the variant h6. The color will be inherit and no wrap. Then after this div, we'll display the current user info, or the auth user info. And to avoid any errors, we'll just include a conditional where we'll only display this if we have our current user. So we'll say current user and once again we'll use a div with the class name classes.grow. Then an image to display our picture, the user's picture with the class name classes.picture. The source will be current user.picture, and the alt text current user.name. Then to the right of it, another typography component where we'll interpolate current user.name. The variant will be h5. The color will be inherit. In other words, it will be white. And it'll be no wrap. And then after our user's name and picture, we'll include our sign out button. But for now, let's take a look. However, we're not going to see anything just yet because we're not including our header component within app. So we'll make sure to go to our app page. we will import the header component from /components/header. And for right now, let's just return header. Now let's save and take a look. And now we have our header component.